Hey, WMB Kids teachers, thank you for watching this video. We were going to do originally a training on Zoom, and then it didn't work for most of you. So now we're doing this just via video, and I'm also looping in some of our Kitchener site teachers. So welcome Kitchener site teachers to this video as well. I just have a few things for you from our Orange curriculum that I want to go over. So I'm going to be sharing my screen, and I'll be able to just to show you a few of those things. So as I do that now, right here, perfect. There we go. So as you can see, I'm now on the Orange home page here of the different curriculums. And I just want to look at a few things and show you a few things. First, we're just going to go to October. That's the month that this is in when I'm filming this video, October 2024. I'm just going to go down here to media package. I don't know if many of you actually know this exists here, but in every curriculum, they have something called scopes and sequence. Scope and sequence. And this is just where it lays out all the lessons for the year and just has it in a really nice format, which I think can actually be helpful for you. So I click media package. At the bottom of media package, it says scope and cycle files. So that's the orange. Oh, click the wrong thing. Scope and cycle files. That's the orange word. Scope and sequence is more common. And then you go to full scope and cycle PDF, the kids one, and there it pops up. And then down here, when you scroll down through all that, you now have every month listed. So if you're looking at whatever month you're teaching, you can see week 1, week 2, week 3 says the bottom lines as well. Also the core question, series description. It just lays it out really quickly and really nicely. And then also you can see what's coming up for the rest of the year. Now, I wanted to make a couple comments here while I have this file open, because that's something else I wanted to talk to you all about. Just with Orange, we've been struggling a little bit lately, especially with their bottom lines and a few other things where we feel that it's a bit of just moralism creeping in, that the gospel is really taken out of the scriptures that they are presenting. So I think October is probably the most evident of that, and it's seen in the bottom line. For example, Jesus tempted in the wilderness, and their bottom line is be ready to do the right thing. Well, there probably could be a lot more for kids to discover there, like how Jesus can help us in our temptation, or Jesus can be with us and empower us to not fall to temptation, or all those different things. There's many different options, but they're really taking what I think the scriptures are actually teaching us in those things. Another one is think before you speak, think before you act, or know when to stop. Really, the gospel message of Jesus is really missing in a lot of these things. And not that they're bad, but I think if you can say, as a non-Christian, or taking the Bible out of it, a non-Christian could affirm, raise their hand and say, yes, I believe in all those things. I believe you should think before you speak. I believe you should think before you act. I believe you should know when to stop. And that's kind of the constant message you're giving. You probably should check yourself for if you are actually missing the point. And I think Orange misses the point here in October, especially. As a side note, we are going to relook at our curriculum this year as we look towards next year. So we're renewed for this year. And we're going to talk about how we can navigate some of this, but we are going to look at other curriculums and just navigate and see if we do want to make an adjustment because of this. I find some months are better than others. For example, if you look at the month of December rather, it's all about how it's all about Jesus, right? In the story of Christmas, and it's really good overall. Some of the other months are good too. So, for example, this one, God made you, knows you, and loves you. That's a great one, right? So there are some good ones. And also, I want to say, and this is one of the things and one of the ways we navigate this, we aren't fully attached to the bottom line. We don't need to be so attached to the bottom line that we base our whole lesson out of the bottom line. We do ask that you follow the story, or at least generic story, because we want the theme of the month to stay true, just for consistency and for the kids learning. We kind of want it all to connect. But as a teacher, you have a lot of freedom with where you take this lesson. So if you, for example, had this past week, Jesus tempted in the wilderness, as a teacher, you have a lot of freedom to be able to shape that. You don't need to just talk about how be ready to do the right thing, which yes, you do want to be ready to do the right thing. But you also could share about how Jesus can help you in temptation, for example, like that example we had. So with all those things, I want to just encourage you as teachers to have that freedom, but also to actually study the scriptures yourself before the lesson. That is something that I think is so important and so valuable, is actually read the passage before the lesson, and then what is the Holy Spirit speaking to you in the scriptures? And it might be something totally different, but maybe it's another point. Maybe it's a few other things you want to bring out. And you get, as a teacher, the opportunity to share with the kids and teach the kids what's being revealed to you. But at the same time, not being so off base that it just misdirects the whole point of what we're learning that month. And also within reason, make sure that what you are teaching stays in line with the scriptures. That's, I know, evident, but should be said. So I just want to, again, give you some encouragement on that and keep an eye on that. You'll even notice when, for example, in Waterloo, when you're with me and I'm leading, which I do a couple times a month normally, you're going to see me even with the kids. I won't mention the bottom line because of that, when it's like this, for example. But one thing you can do for sure is in your classroom, shape it and open up the scriptures with the kids and study the scriptures. That actually moves me to my next point. Just a reminder to always be, every week we try to commit to opening the scriptures with the kids. Now, Waterloo, we did some rule of life practices, which are now down in the Lorad on a poster. Kitchener, I hope to be doing that with you guys at some point soon. But yes, make sure we're opening up the scriptures with the kids. Next, I want to quickly chat a bit about some lesson prep. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to go up to where you would find your small group. So I click the group, small group. This is just a reminder. Some of you I know this, but this is just a reminder. And it's a reminder that you can here open what it says here is the week 1 doc. And what this does is this opens up a week 1 document, which is a Microsoft Word document. And when you open that up, it's actually going to be editable. So when you open up that Microsoft Word document, I believe you can see this here. I hope you can see it on my screen. When you open up this document, you can make it editable, enable editing. And this is actually a way that a lot of teachers sometimes like to frame their lessons. Because let's say you don't want to do this early arriver, all you do is highlight it, backspace, it's gone. Let's say you want to do a different activity, which was what we'll chat about in a minute. You could copy and paste the activity right into this lesson. But I just want you guys to know you have the freedom here to move around. It's a really nice way to kind of edit your lesson. When I first started using the Orange curriculum, I used to just print off the entire lesson on the PDF and just cross out what I wasn't doing that day. But this, I think, can be actually a really handy way of doing it, and it prints a little better overall as well. So I just wanted to remind you of that. With that, just a reminder as well, when you're lesson planning, I encourage you to sometimes use Pinterest as a great way if looking for other activities. That's a resource I use a lot. And then there's a few other ones just on Google that I'll find. But I encourage you, if there's something that's just not working for you in the Orange curriculum, to look up some of those other resources. There can be great resources that can be really helpful for building your lesson. So I encourage you to keep that in mind as well. You have freedom as a teacher to do that, or sometimes you'll come up with something that is different that you can do. You have that freedom as a teacher, or even tweaking lessons like that. So that is that. Also, one other thing I want to encourage you to do in your classrooms, this is something that I saw Rosalind do just this past Sunday, and it's something that we actually make a regular practice at our Waterloo site with our littles, the Discovers class in Kitchener. I'll have it for you guys shortly as well, is actually writing out what you're doing that day. So in our littles class, the Discovers class in Waterloo, and in Kitchener, I think it's Explorers, we'll have like photos for the day with pictures of like the different activities that we're doing that day. But just for general practice, I think it'd be really helpful when you're teaching to actually write out on the whiteboard the different activities you're going to be doing that day. And you could even write if time. We're doing this, this, this. That can just be a helpful visual for kids, because I think kids actually can really be helped by that when they know what's coming next, right? When they can just see the structure and they can see where they're at in the lesson. I think that can be a helpful visual. So I just want to encourage you as a resource. I think that's a good practice. I think it's a good visual for kids. I encourage you to possibly write out your order for the day. And even as you start the lesson, walk them through that. I think that can be really helpful as well. One other thing or I guess I got two more things for you. But first, my one thing is, of course, I'm not with you in Kitchener as much anymore. So maybe this is more for Waterloo. I don't know. I did an assistant training for some of our assistants yesterday. And I just want to give the encouragement that when we're in a large group time, and I know Kitchener, you're not in large groups anymore, so this maybe is more relevant for you. But just when you see different behaviors happening, kids talking when they shouldn't, kids poking each other, as teachers, you are fully affirmed to go and step in. It doesn't always have to be me or Emily or whoever the Sunday coordinator is. As teachers, you have full authority to step in and just guide kids the right way in terms of behavior. Now, this is my last thing, I promise. I think I've said last thing like 4 times. This is my last thing. Just starting in a few weeks, we are going to be having take-home sheets for you guys. So take-home sheets that will go home with the kids that have different things that parents can ask throughout the week and different things like that. So I just want to put that on your radar. That will be at both sites. Take-home sheets will be arriving in a few weeks. So you'll see that in their classrooms, and just as kids leave, you can give them to either the kid, but ideally give them to the parent. That concludes all I have for you guys. Thank you for watching this video and hopping on this email. I appreciate all of you. I thank you for all you do and how you serve at WMB Kids. Blessings to you. I'm here to support. Emily is here to support. And we would love to be able to just walk alongside you as we seek to disciple kids. So thanks everyone. Have a great day.